So we're on a doorstep in Watford in 1997. Martin Gitonga has left his flat and crossed the street to the home of the Zafars, a Muslim family he's never met before. It's 6 a.m. and his 6-month-old baby girl is zipped inside his jacket. The Zafars have agreed to look after her. Martin hands the baby over while his partner Peris, the baby's mom, watches in tears over the road. And then he goes to work.
We needed a break, and we needed it fast so we can at least make some money.
We were on the verge of separating Martin and I if we didn't come to a solution that we needed help with Sandra.
Between them, the couple are working day and night, immigrants from Kenya with low incomes and no family support. So when, through a friend, the big Muslim family across the road offered to help, they decided to give it a go. Peris and Martin didn't know much about the Zafars, but they knew they had very little in common. It's day one. Adiba, Mrs. Zafar, answers Martin's hesitant knock at the door.
बिल्कुल वो हमारे लिए तोहफा थी अल्लाह की तरफ से.
She was a gift from God for us.
Adiba speaks English some of the time, but when she starts going into detail, she prefers to talk in Urdu. So a lot of what she has to say, you'll hear her translated.
तो उसका खाली हेड नजर आ रहा था. फिर उसने जिप खोली, मुझे दी, सेटिव के ऊपर बैठाई.
All we could see was the baby's head, and then he unzipped the jacket and took the baby out and put her on the settee.
Adiba wasn't too worried about looking after a baby. She'd had 5 of her own. Her 18-year-old daughter, Saika, who'd been unsuccessfully lobbying her dad to get a dog, thought a baby in the house would be even better.
And I thought, no way. Can't remember the conversation word to word, but it was almost like, I'm going to work, and would you be able to look after her? We were like, yeah, definitely. So for me, I was really excited. We were getting this toy almost in the house.
Saika's relationship with baby Sandra was a deep one, right from the start.
Oh, I just fell in love with her. I really did. She had this little black afro, and she was really round, and she had this really cute nose, a button nose, very, very glossy skin. And I remember sort of trying to feel it and think, why is it so shiny, And I know now it's because her mum put Vaseline on her, because it was all very new to us, of course.
Saika was well aware that the two families, hers and the baby's, were from completely different religions and cultures. But she didn't think it mattered.
As a Muslim family, we didn't think that, she's Christian or she's a different colour to us, or, they don't eat halal, they don't wear the headscarf. No, for me it was just, somebody needs help and we're able to give it.
The Zafars had said they were happy to have the baby, but there was no real plan, so it was quite a surprise that she was actually here.
तो फिर हमने ना ऐसे cushion रखे थे.
We put the cushions around her, with her at the center, and I sat beside her. And Martin left. It was a very quick visit from Martin, but she didn't cry when he left.
And the only thing he actually left us with was a couple of nappies, a bottle of milk, and there was a bottle of something that looked like a green liquid.
The green liquid, pawpaw and avocado.
That's Peris, Sandra's mom, making sure Sandra got the food she was used to, if nothing else. Adiba knew what she'd been going through.
I know no mother wants to leave the child with a stranger. I just felt so much for Peris. I was an immigrant, and I struggled. And that is why I had to help. They may not be Muslims or Pakistani, but they are still human beings, and God has made them.
By the evening, when everybody had got home, we put her in the middle of our lounge and we all sat round her and we just stared at her. She was just very quiet, and I think we kind of felt sorry for her because, we're a completely different family, different skin colour. She must think, where am I? Where are my mummy and daddy? So one thing that really irritates my dad is children who misbehave. It was almost like she was an angel. If we sat her in one place, she would sit there. She wouldn't ask for food. She wouldn't ask for milk. I'm very spiritual. I believe in God. And sometimes I think that God made her like that. because if she was mischievous, we wouldn't have been able to keep her.
But Mr. Zafar was as smitten as the rest of them, as was Adibo, who was happy to have a new baby around, now that hers were growing up.
Everybody love Sandra. Everybody, I'm too happy.
When Martin came back, it seemed that first day had gone smoothly, all round.
He came back that evening and he took her. We were all, oh yes, definitely, we could do this and we definitely want her back. And we sort of said, by the way, how old is she?
6 month old. 6 month old.
And I said, no, thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Martin came and said, Peris, you won't believe it. They said the baby never cried, not even a little bit. The first thing I checked, her diaper, just like any other mother would. To my surprise, her diaper was nice and dry. She was well powdered. She was smelling nice. I expected her to come home miserable, but she was just happy self.
And suddenly, any doubt you had, it ebbs away.
So the arrangement was in place. One family looking after another's baby just because they were neighbors, and they could.
Yes, बच्ची का कुदरती के साथ प्यार.
It was just this attraction we had with the baby. It was a mutual feeling. Every day after that she came.
The first week he offered us £25, and I refused to take it. And I said, there's no way that I'm going to charge you to look after Sandra.
Because they wanted to help, even though they were strangers, and because we were just besotted. And it just felt wrong.
You know when you have something good going.
Childcare. Who give you that for free?
It was all based on trust. But so far, just Martin's. Peris was yet to meet her baby's carers.
I was just beating myself up because to me, it was that I shouldn't be letting somebody else take care of my baby. I loved my baby so much. I told God, if this is your will, if this is the family that you brought in my life to help me with Sandra, I promise you, I am going to work hard and make sure that Sandra will have the life that she deserves.
She began to think maybe if God had sent them the Zafars, it was time to cross the street and meet them. Because by then Sandra had been in their care for nearly 2 weeks.
When I went there, the whole family was there. They were also excited to meet me and to get to know who is this Sandra's mom. And they had cooked. So it wasn't an awkward thing. They said, okay, let's eat together as we talk and as we get to know you.
I expected her to be a mature woman. I don't know why, but when I saw her, she was very young and she was very, glamorous, and she was a fashionista, and oh wow.
In that moment, Saika sensed that Peris and Martin had found much more than childcare.
This mother figure in my mum, this friend and sister in me, and this father figure in my dad, and the fact that, all of us siblings loved her child. I think more so for her than Martin, she definitely found a family in the UK, which she never had. She hugged me and it didn't feel like we were strangers. Sandra had brought us together. That's how it felt.
Right there, I knew this was the right family to help us with Sandra. It was a normal family, a happy family, and their mother was a stay-at-home mom. She cleaned, the house was spotless. The kitchen, smelling good food. I loved their style of dressing too, and I loved their hair. They all had the most beautiful, neat hair. So I looked at all that. They were all clean. They were all organized. And I felt, this is a family that actually I want to be part of. The way we dressed, they dressed different than me. The way they ate different food. In fact, they called our food tasteless. There's no spices. The mom was like, let me teach you how to cook. I would ask them questions. Why do you have a nose stud? Why do you cover your hair? Why are you covering it when you're leaving the house? And then they would ask me, how do you braid your hair like that? Things like that. And so the more I got to know them, the more I realized I had nothing to worry about.
Raising a child doesn't mean if you're a Christian, you're going to raise a child better than a Muslim. Children are raised by a village, and a village comprises of many religious beliefs.
Then I realized they pray a lot because they would tell me, it's time to play Peris. You'll have to excuse us. We're just going to go. I was like, I wish I can be that disciplined and prayerful like they were.
Peris was working nights at a nursing home, Martin was working in a warehouse on an early shift, and baby Sandra came to spend more and more time at the Zafars. Within weeks of this new arrangement starting up, she was sleeping over across the road too.
It was just a natural progression that happened.
I finished work and I'm tired and I go out to pick up and Psycha look at me and go, Peris, no. Because you're tired. What are you going to go do with her anyway? You're just going to go and go to bed. That's when they would offer me even food. Why don't you just sit down, play with her while you're eating your food, and hopefully by the time you finish, you'll be happy to leave her and just go get some rest. And honestly, I would sit back and think, yeah, Peris, why do you have to take this kid out of this happiness so that you can just satisfy yourself that you took the baby home? All you're going to go do is dump this baby in a play court and just sleep. It was all about sacrifice. So I did it for her. It was for Sandra. I looked at it this way. If I don't let this family help me with Sandra while I work, so I can get money to provide her a good home, a stable home and a stable family, the opposite could happen. She will have no home, she will have no family. You get what I mean? I was on a survival mode.
To the Zafars, providing round-the-clock care to someone else's baby didn't feel like any kind of sacrifice.
नहीं लगा मुश्किल लड़कियां भी थी ना सब उसको एक
To be honest, we didn't find it difficult. There were so many of us at home. One person would put her down and another person would pick her up. I don't think we let her walk because there were so many people who were always happy to have her in their laps. We kept her like our own.
It felt like a special time.
वही टाइम खुशी से गुजरा है बहुत अच्छा वक्त
I would say it was the best time of our lives. Truthfully, I would get tired of my own children, but I never ever got tired of Sandra.
I didn't feel like she was gone. Remember, she was across the road. So it gave me a sense of, if I really need to provide to really get focused, I can do what I want to do here. And at the same time, I know my baby is getting the best care out there.
Sandra was happy, Martin was happy, the Zafars were happy. And Peris?
I would take the baby and give it to them, but I would leave crying. Like I wouldn't let them see, but I would drive a little bit, park on the side, and cry for like a few minutes, and then encourage myself, Peris, this is for the best, this is for the best, this is for the best. Put music loud, Peris, this is for the best. Distract myself, and before you know it, I get home, I've calmed myself down. Another week goes.
A little girl growing up at the heart of two very different families on either side of the same street. What will become of this unusual arrangement? And how will it shape the lives of all those involved? Hear more about the Doorstep Daughter in episode 3.